Next speaker, former House Representative for the great state of Oklahoma. Good friend of mine, has taught me a great deal. It's Porter Davis. Porter? Oh, should approve staircase. There we go.
Hey everybody, how are you doing today? How many were here at the end of the Fed rally last year? Who likes the better weather today? It's cold and windy then. Listen, we've got a lot to be encouraged about. A lot's been happening in the last year. What's happening is that freedom is an idea whose time has come. People are waking up now. They're really waking up. People are realizing that U.S. imperialism abroad and fascism at home are being revealed for what they are. They are joined at the hip. Imperialism abroad and fascism at home are part and parcel of the same coin. And the international bankers who run the Federal Reserve Bank are making money off of both. And we've got to put a stop to it, folks. So I want you to be encouraged today. A lot of things look bad in a real sense, but the worse things get, the more people are waking up, and that's what we can be encouraged about. The Bible says that without a vision, people perish. And a vision means a vision of victory. And the enemy wants us to think they are so powerful, so all-pervasive, and so invincible that they cannot be defeated. But it just ain't so. The only way they can do that is if we begin to believe that ourselves. That's what they want. I've read the book, I've read the end, and the good guys do win in the end, folks. The global elite are being exposed for what they are, and they're going to get just what's coming to them. Now let's talk about a few things that can encourage us. The first one is Ron Paul himself. Ron's been in the trenches since the 1970s. Nobody would give his in the Fed bill or audit the Fed bill the time of day until a year or two ago. Now it's still alive with, I understand, 300 House sponsors, even moderates like Oklahoma's Mary Fallon and Tom Cole that voted for the bailout or for in the Fed. Do you know why they're for in the Fed? They know because that's what you want. That's what the people want. They know that's where the power lies, is with the people, folks. Ron Paul is in his early 70s, and he gives me encouragement. I've been at this a long time, too, and if Ron Paul can be the Energizer buddy, then so can I. And who wants Ron Paul to run again in 2012 for president? Another thing to be encouraged about is Oath Keepers. How many know about Oath Keepers? Oath Keepers was started just a very short time ago by a former Ron Paul aide, and specifically their goal is to prevent the New World Order and their minions in the United States from abrogating the U.S. Constitution and using U.S. military and law enforcement to impose dictatorship on the country. Specifically, they have an oath to get people who are in the military and law enforcement to affirm their oath to uphold and protect the Constitution against enemies both foreign and domestic. And we have many domestic enemies, folks. And despite what Homeland Security would say in the MIAC support, it's not us. We're for this country, we're for the Constitution. Another thing is we have lots of candidates running everywhere. We've already heard from several here today. We also have activist groups popping up so fast I can't even keep track of them. Used to be I could keep track of them on one finger. Now they're everywhere. We've got Tea Parties groups. In fact, I was doing copying for this event today, and I ran by the Kinko's and Memorial about 9 o'clock last night, and I ran off 200 copies, and I told the guy there running them off, the only guy there, asked him to keep one, he might like it, and he looked at it and said, "Oh, I've been to 2 tea parties already." Looked just like any of you folks here, a young guy with his whole future ahead of him. He kept a copy, believe me. We've got the 912 groups. We've got OK Safe. We've got the In the Fed groups like this one. We Are Change all over the country. We Are Change Oklahoma, James Lane. We've got the Campaign for Liberty, Kirk Shelley's here. We've got Radio Free Oklahoma. They're here. They were on the air on local radio until the FCC thugs told them to stop and desist earlier this week. Let's hear it for the FCC. We have people like Kay Beach, who I haven't seen here. Kay, are you here? She must have worn herself out. She's working tirelessly, setting up training to lobby the legislature. Believe me, if you've got any extra time and desire to learn on the issues, lobbyists make a big difference. Sign up with her to get trained and show up at the state capitol. Everett Dirksen, who was a U.S. Senator a long time ago, had a very good truth about politics. He said, when I feel the heat as a senator, then I feel the light. We need you to help them feel the heat, folks. And we have another remarkable thing that I never thought I would see, and that Al Gerhardt has come together and put together an umbrella group not to take over, but to facilitate and servant lead and help coordinate the Oklahoma Constitutional Alliance. And at least a dozen groups have come together there, and they're communicating, coordinating, and seeing how they can best pool their resources. Used to be the conservative groups, constitutional groups, all had their own protective turf and they wouldn't come together. Now they are. But the beauty of all of these is they are grassroots. They're not all centrally led, because many heads make it hard to knock off one head and kill a group. So I urge you to get involved and get active, folks. Another encouraging trend is the rise of the alternative news through the internet. It used to be that the establishment, the elite, could control all the flow of information and control their position in society. Well, no longer. The internet is egalitarian for next to nothing. You can get on the internet. I set up a website that I'll tell you about in a minute for 12 bucks. And I've got points that are giant killers if you will join with me to kill giants. We'll talk about that in just a minute. We have alternative news, we have alternative information, alternative analysis, and guess what? The mainstream media is dying. The mainstream media is dying. They're losing credibility, they're losing their audience, and they're losing money. It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of folks. And you're helping it happen, folks. Don't listen to them. And we have a new generation of activists. Look around at all the young kids here, the young people. One of my favorites is Ron Paul Kessler. Where's little Ron Paul Kessler? Let's give Ron Paul Kessler a hand here, folks. He's here in front with an In the Fed hat on. He doesn't understand it, but he's been involved in a number of rallies and street actions already. He has no hope. He gives us hope. We also have, I'm going to give a plug for somebody that's opened my eyes a lot, and I didn't think it could be opened much more, and that's Alex Jones. How many people here listen to Alex Jones? If you don't, I urge you, go to Infowars.com, go to PrisonPlanet.com or Prison Planet TV and start listening to Alex Jones. He is the most radical, most informative person on the radio now. He's targeting the New World Order and the central bankers like the Federal Reserve System. But do I repeat myself? The New World Order and central bankers are one and the same. He's exposing their plans for global government. He's exposing the left-right paradigm that's keeping people enslaved with false political thinking. Folks, if you still think this battle's about left and right, liberal and conservative, Democrats and Republicans, then you need to wake up. It's not about that. And if you keep thinking left and right, and it's all about Obama, or it's all about Bush, then folks, you need to wake up. Clear your heads. That is political propaganda designed to keep your head tethered in a box that you cannot get out of. You know how they keep circus elephants controlled? When they're babies, they tie them to a chain, and they're too weak to kick that chain out. And when they get older, they can easily pull that chain up. But you know what? That chain's around their leg, and they have been trained. They cannot get out of that chain. That's what the false left-right paradigm does.